folks, another video here from the Prophet Easy One. It's a viral video, a video about the coronavirus, and I'm going to show you some statistics. I've been keeping track since the 3rd of March on statistics dealing with the infection rate, the death rate, and the recovery rate. So I've been keeping track of them and keeping some statistics to go with them, showing that the death rate has been steadily increasing. In other words, the amount of deaths per people who heal or who are infected is actually increasing. And that's going to continue to increase because the infections come way before the deaths. So what I had been doing, let me see if you can see this here. What I had been doing is taking, each day I was writing down, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but here's the amount of deaths, or the infections, the deaths, and the recoveries. And I've been doing this for a while. So I went ahead and actually here's some figures down here that I'll get into later as to how I got the actual death rate. Because what I had been doing, see, what most people had been doing, which is totally wrong, is comparing the amount of deaths to the amount of infected. I said, that's totally wrong. Because those who are infected, some of them are going to be in that death statistic, and most of them will survive. So you can't figure it that way. And what I was doing, and actually I was wrong too, but I was closer than what they were. I was taking the amount of deaths and comparing them to the amount of recoveries. Now that is the right way to do it, but in order for me to get the proper statistics, I had to add the deaths and the recoveries together and then divide the deaths by that to get the actual percentage. I don't know if you're following me, but that's how I did it. So let's get into this. Here's what I did when I charted. This would be the infections. And this, I know this may not be real good to see, and it ain't super professional, but yeah, I guess you can see that. Now, this was from March 3rd to March 24th, and I just found one of the other statistics today and put it in here, the next to the last one. But as you see, the infection rate is shooting up, and I expect it to go way up. Oh, yeah. So far, most of the predictions I've been making, I'm very conservative on my predictions, and they've all been surpassing what I predicted. Like with comments that I've made on other channels, such as Watchman Project, I said maybe a week ago, or maybe longer than that, that pretty soon the death rate or the infectious rate would be 20,000 a day. And keep in mind, back then it was maybe 3,000 or 4,000 a day, if that. And the deaths would be probably 1,400 a day. Where are we at here now? Let's see. What are we at? Well, I mean, 14,000 is what I say. We're already at over 16,000 a day. That was statistics from earlier this morning. And that thing's just going to increase and increase. Now, let's get back to this. This is just the infection rate. Now, if you were to take a straight edge and put it along how that it was going, you see it should come way out here. But no, as you see, this is curving up. And it's going to continue to do that. It's going to skyrocket. Even with all these things that they're doing to contain people, you know, it's too late to contain this virus. China overall seemed to have done a pretty good job. The United States doing a terrible job. You know, keep making excuses for their test kits. You know, they should have been testing the people. If they got it, then quarantine them or tell them to quarantine themselves. But no, make excuses. Oh, first I'd heard that they had all kinds of test kits around the country, and then Pence told them not to use them for some reason. I don't recall what he said. And then the problem was, oh, no, they had enough tests, but it was a problem with in the testing. Some of the chemicals weren't good or something, or this can happen or that can happen. So they're not doing that much testing. And, of course, they don't want you to know how many people are getting infected. The right thing to do would let people know. You educate and not legislate. Let people know how serious this is so that they will take the precautions. But don't mandate these precautions on people. You know, it's totally unconstitutional. And in the long run, they are definitely doing more harm than good. All right, so now, let's go to the deaths here. This is what I've charted on the deaths. Hopefully you can see this. Once again, from March 3rd over here to the 24th, which is today. And as you can see, once again, if this was to take a straight line trajectory, it would be way over here. But as you can see, this is curving way up too. All right, now, I got one other thing I made a chart of. Now this one, because of the scale I use, looks like it's going up really steeply. You know, don't let the scale fool you. The scales are over here on the side. This is set up with, each line is 2,000. Is that 2,000? Yeah, 2,000. All right, so it goes up to 100K up here. But as you see, this is actually, these are the people who recover. This one steadily is just taking a straight line path. In fact, if you take a pencil as straight as and run it like I was doing a minute ago, it comes up pretty close to where this is. So that just shows that really the medical profession isn't doing much to recover these people. And as I mentioned in my last video, from other statistics that I've been keeping up on, once someone goes in there critical, the odds of coming out alive are very low. And what apparently is happening to a lot of these people, and this is what happened in the Spanish flu too. You know, they start off with a viral pneumonia, and then they end up with a bacterial pneumonia on top of it. And maybe it's because some of the equipment hasn't been clean that they use, or maybe just because all the bacteria in hospitals. I don't know the reason, but that's what's happening to a lot of people. And that's why I'm going to get back to these herbs that I have. You know, yeah, let's get into these herbs right now. Before we do that, let's get into some more of these statistics that I put together. Now, as I said, originally, I was just taking the amount of deaths and dividing that by the amount of people who survived, and that would give you the death rate. But no, that wasn't right. You have to add the two and then divide that total number into the deaths. So that's what I did for all these plots that I have. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let's see. You probably can. Depends on the size of your screen. Well, wait, it's down here. But originally, it was staying pretty steady, you know, as far as the percentage when I figured it out. It was staying pretty steady. And then it just started going up steeper and steeper. You know, this thing, it started out from when I was keeping track at, actually, here, let me read these off to you. 6.3%, 6.1, 5.89, 5.83, 5.77, 6.2, 6.4, 6.54. Okay, they were all staying in that range. That was the death rate. And maybe because China was doing a good job and some other people, but now, and this thing's getting to countries even with good medicine and good doctors and good hospitals. But see, they can't fight the flu. They can't cure. Your body can. That's why I have these medicinal herbs that we're going to get into in a minute. Now, after it got to 6.58, it jumped to 7.86, 8.21, 8.77, 9.56, 10.3. Yesterday it was at 12.81% of the people who have gotten this are dying. And now, as of today, this was hours ago, 14.13%. That means you have a 1 in 7 chance of dying as opposed to recovering if you get this virus. And I hate to bring you bad news, but I'm just telling you people, you need to be careful. You need to be keeping your hands washed. You need to be keeping your space. Stay at home if at all possible. Yeah, that's the good advice. Like I say, it should not be mandated. People are smart enough to know that they should be doing that. And people are going to get sick either way. And what's going to happen when? Yeah, because they keep saying, oh, just for 2 weeks. Then it'll be, oh, 2 more weeks, 2 more weeks. Don't believe in it. And I'm going to, let me just throw this in real quick. If you look around, you know, farmers have been warning us now since last year that this was going to be a bad year. And now other things have happened. And on top of this shutdown, folks, you should be stocked up. You know, a while back I was overstocked, and I've been giving things away because I planned to be moving. And I still have stock, but yeah, I'd like to have had more. And I've been able to find toilet paper for about 2 weeks. Fortunately, a week ahead of time, I did buy a little extra. And like I say, I keep at least 4 rolls in my bug out gear. So I should be okay for a while. And hopefully they'll get stocked back up and I'll get some. All right, now let's get to this stuff. Now, most of these people who are dying have underlying conditions. And of course, one of the worst of those is if you have a lung condition. And so that brings me to something. Now, so I thought, oh no, I don't have any left to show you. I'm totally sold out of lung herbs, folks. Other than I have enough for probably one more individual Kung Flu kit. So you get these 10 bags of this, which goes to kill the viruses in your body, and 5 bags of a lung tea to help your lungs. Now, I probably won't have any more in till Saturday. I'll try to get in an order tomorrow. If I get it in early enough, I'll probably have it Saturday. All right. So, but what I still do have, and that's getting low too, I'm warning you people, you need to get it, is the Cold Comfort. Now, I'm not going to go through everything in here again because I've done it on other videos. I did my last video covering the immune system, and some of what's in this and how that it works covers that. So I'm not going to get into it. The immune tea, yeah, one of my favorites. And believe it or not, both of these are in my bug out bag in my first aid kit because I already knew bad things are coming on this world because of what the Bible says. And these things will protect your body from viruses, and this one works real good bacterial infections too. This one, I would recommend more for a cold or flu. That's what it is designed for. Like it says here, it helps to conquer a cold. And this one helps to build the immune system. And I've used this in place of antibiotics. When doctors prescribe me antibiotics, I didn't take them. I used this, and it cleared it up faster than what the doctors expected. So I have total faith in both of these. Oh, and by the way, I have used this to get rid of the flu virus once too, because I didn't have this in stock. So I took this over instead. And that was to Justin's daughter from Locked and Loaded 100%. And it took her 2 days to get better. Now, if you have a heart condition, this is what you need. You need to get you some hawthorn berry. I don't know if that's showing up. Got a bright light there for hawthorn berry. One of my top 3 favorite herbs. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And the things that it does for your heart and your bloodstream and to get rid of cholesterol, control high blood pressure. This is what you need. Yeah, it helps with arrhythmia. I mean, believe me, when I had the arsenic poisoning, actually I've been to the emergency room 5 times because of it. I keep saying 4, and I forgot about one of the ones. And, well, that was really serious. Well, it was all real serious. But that's the herb that I used. That along with a couple other things, but primarily that, and or that in a blend of herbs called Helping Heart, which has a bunch of herbs in it that all work good for your heart and other things to get rid of cholesterol and to strengthen your heart. So, like I said, these I still have some in stock. I suggest you get them soon. This is the one that'll knock the virus out. I'll send it in the continental United States for 20 bucks. Same with the immune. And if it comes down to it, why run out of the Cold Comfort and can't get any? That's my thing. I want to get more of each of these before the supply's gone. That's why I originally started getting a bunch. Let's see. Oh, and one of the people that this is really getting a lot, that is killing, is people who have diabetes. This is the largest selling blend of herbs from the company I work for. And it's made for diabetics. And I covered briefly in another video. Should I cover it here? What do you think? All right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cover the stuff here too. All right. Basically, when you have diabetes, it affects your things all over your body. So what this blend has is a bunch of herbs that fight to help fix those things that diabetes causes a problem with. And diabetes is a pancreatic disease, and this has something in it for your pancreas. So let's go through some of this stuff. I don't think I have on another video, and we're not going to get into super detail on this. Maybe some other time. I want to keep this video short. I still got to go somewhere and upload it, but let's get into some of what's in here. All right. It's called bilberry leaf and blueberry leaf. Now, bilberry, as I've mentioned before, British pilots used to give it, or the British Air Force used to give it to their pilots before they went on bombing runs because of how much it improved vision, especially for night vision. And it helps with insulin. Yeah, that's why it helps control blood sugar. It helps with inflammation, gout, like I said, night vision, cataracts, and glaucoma. And I have he's passed away now, had a local friend here who had glaucoma for years and got rid of it just by using bilberry. And it didn't even take him a month, and he didn't have it anymore. His doctors were amazed. All right, so what else we got in here? We got alfalfa leaf. Alfalfa, the father of foods. Now, alfalfa is very good for your health. And it's helpful for arthritis, fatigue, and your pituitary gland also. Like I said, diabetes affects a lot of things in your body. And the other thing about alfalfa, and probably the reason it's called father of foods, is because it's so loaded with vitamins and minerals and actually has a good bit of protein in it too. Now, also in this is oat straw, which is good for your hair, skin, and nails, and it's high in silica. What else we got? Oh, dandelion, one of my favorites. And dandelion, it's a blood cleanser, and it helps your liver, and especially if you have any kidney problems. Dandelion is the best thing I know of for it, and it's a diuretic. So if you have excess water, if you got edema, swelling of your legs and feet, dandelion is what you want. And if you're a diabetic, they usually end up getting that. And they often get, plus it helps your circulation, and that's where they're getting a problem. And I've known a few diabetics who've had steady, first a couple of toes cut off, then more, and then their whole foot. I've known 2 guys who've lost their whole foot. I've seen them. Doesn't look real good. Looks like an elephant's foot at the bottom, just a little clump there. It's terrible. And what's their name? It'll come to me in a minute. Let's go through what else is in here. Like I said, the dandelion's a blood cleanser. Then we got ginkgo biloba. Now, ginkgo helps to improve brain function. It's been proven to improve brain function up to 15% in studies. It's a great herb to have for students who need to study and that sort of thing. Although I do have a blend called Brain Tea. It has a lot of good things in it for your brain. And that's especially good for students who need to study for a test and stuff. But I guess right now, we won't have students the rest of this season. Yeah, that's what's going to happen around this country is what it's looking like. All right, where was I? And the ginkgo, well, it helps with your circulation, gout, and like I said, especially with your brain and memory, it does break the blood-brain barrier and takes nutrients to your brain. So does blessed thistle, and there's a couple others that do. But blessed thistle takes different things to your brain. All right, now, one of the things that's in here is stevia, which I've been giving to people with diabetes for 18 years now. And that works on your pancreas. And it's a super sweetener. In fact, I need to put that on my next order because I'm trying to work out another order now so that I can get more of these lung herbs. I tell you, people, they've been selling out because if you have a lung condition, you could be in that death statistic. You'd be a dot on that chart where it's going up. So if you have a lung condition, I do recommend you get yourself a bag of one of my lung herbs. So far, everybody's gotten it from me. I get nothing but good feedback. In fact, I just sent more to Hawaii earlier today, and I offered to give them the other lung tea, but they like this one. They said they could see some benefit. Oh, and they like the taste of it, too. It actually does taste pretty good. I had about, altogether at least a half gallon of it a little over a week ago, just to keep my lungs in, too. And when I get the new order in, I will take one of the other teas from my lung. I do have individual herbs for your lungs, but these blends work really good. All right, what else we got in here? We got cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon's proven to reduce cholesterol. I just learned that recently from a doctor. It actually is relatively effective at it. But, it takes a lot of it. I use it not every day, but I bet you I use it every other day in certain things that I make, just because it is good for you. Oh, and it helps control gas. It tastes good. Yeah, I put it in my coffee a lot of times. I put it in, of course, oatmeal. I got a fruit dish I just made in there earlier. Has a little piece of like pound cake on the bottom, and I cut up some strawberries and bananas, and I sprinkle a little maple syrup on it, and then sprinkle cinnamon on there. And I'm talking real maple syrup. I don't do log cabin and stuff. That stuff's terrible for you. All that high fructose corn syrup. No wonder we have so much diabetes. And the United Way, that's the name I was thinking of. Since I was, put it this way, for about 60 years, maybe more, they've been talking about how they're going to cure diabetes. Send us your money. We're going to cure diabetes. For over 60 years, they've been taking everybody's money. They haven't cured diabetes. You know what they did? They got everybody hooked on insulin. And once you get on insulin, that's a terrible thing to do. You're better off take this before you get to that point. Yeah, because once you get on insulin, now instead of your pancreas and other organs regulating the amount of insulin or certain other things too, you're regulating it yourself. And sometimes it may go up or down for a reason, because you ate, because you haven't eaten. That happens with everybody. But, you got to buy their pricking equipment to make yourself bleed a few times a day. And you got to get their needles and then their medicines that you have to keep refrigerated. And what happens is now you're regulating your pancreas. Pretty soon your pancreas is thinking, man, what am I doing? What am I even doing here? Why should I? Every time I get ready to put out some insulin, some jerk is putting a bunch of insulin into my body, and vice versa. I'm not for insulin, I can tell you that much, or for the United Way. All right, and also in here is peppermint, which helps to settle your stomach. It's a good digestive aid, and it's got the uva ursi in it, which is a good liver cleanse, and also for your spleen. Like I said, because diabetes, it begins attacking most of your organs, if not all of your organs. It takes time, but it's a slow killer. Oh yeah, you wanted uva ursi. All right, yeah, that's your spleen, your bladder, and kidney affections. Good for diabetes and cystitis. So that's what's in here. I recommend, if you have diabetes, get you this. Or even better yet, I have it in tincture form. So that's very simple. You just shake the bottle up. There's an eyedropper in here. You squeeze it, and that'll usually give you around a third of an eyedropper, because that's what you want. Quarter to a third of an eyedropper twice a day. Yep. And believe me, if I was diabetic, that's what I'd be doing. And with heart problems, and I've gone through a bunch of this myself, not being diabetic, only because everything in there is so good for you. Yeah, the hawthorn berry, I went through lots of that. Yeah, over the years, and I still, on occasion, take it. Yeah, if my heart begins to act up, now it hasn't done it really in quite some time, so I don't have to do it very often. But every now and then I'll do it, or I have blends that are made for your heart that I'll do. But overall, this is my favorite for the heart. Okay, that's about all I got, folks. I'm telling you, I'll have more Kung Flu kits. I'll have the ones for 1 and for 2. Like I said, I've been giving out warning. This stuff might go quick, and yeah, it did. It went quick. Shoot, so I'll have to arrange something to get an order in tomorrow. I may not get it until the afternoon, but I should have it again by Saturday. And that's all. But folks, keep in mind, man, these statistics that I gave you, it's bad. Like I said, here, where is that? This is the most troubling part of all of this. And since I started, when I first started keeping track of these things that I was telling you about. Like I said, even though I was doing it wrong, I was dividing the deaths by those who survived. But it showed me a steady uptrend, steady. And then all of a sudden a big increase. And that's what this is showing. Like I said, it started with back with like just under 6% death rate, or just over it for days, for over a week. And then all of a sudden it just started going and going and going. And now my latest figures, yesterday, came to 12.81%. That's 1 out of every 8 people dying. As of today, 1.13%. That's 1 out of every 7 people dying. So people, be careful. If you want to feel confident like I do about this virus, get you these herbs and get you the ones for the flu. I showed you on my latest video how that it works. I talk about the immune system and about T cells and white blood cells. And that's what this is going to give you. It's going to give you interferon and more white blood cells. And that's the way you get rid of these flu viruses. Your own body has to do it. The doctors can't give you anything. If they could, tell me something. Why are all these lead doctors and stuff getting sick and dying? Huh? They can't even help themselves when they're up there. Some of the top doctors. I can help myself. I've already done it through flus and helped other people. And I still want to get out and interview one other person. And I spoke to someone today. At first, she refused to do the interview. So I told her we could keep her anonymous. So she said maybe she'll do that. She's going to talk to her husband and get back with me on that. But her and her husband just went through it. And offered right away, when she told me, offered to run herbs over to her house. And I could show you the email she sent me. I'm not going to do that now because it might expose who she is. But she mentioned that she had a lot of herbs, and she does. She knows a good bit about herbs. She's a very good friend. We've had dinner many times. Her and her husband have taken me out to dinner. They give me gifts all the time because I've taken care of them for many years. But when she told me what herbs she had, it was a good list. She mentioned about 8 or 9 that she was going to use. And just about everything on it was really good for her, in addition to the vitamins, you know. So I thought she'd be okay. But I asked her, are those GNC or do you have natural herbs? And she said natural herbs. I don't know. I will see her. Hopefully tomorrow she'll give me an interview. If not, I'm scheduled to see her Saturday, most likely anyway, if it's not raining. So yeah, I would love to get the interview with her. But here's what she told me. Her and her husband were sick, real sick, for 16 days. I didn't get into a lot of detail with her because I'd rather interview her live and in person so that everybody can hear something. So I've asked her to do it for the benefit of my subscribers and other people so that they can be aware of this virus and just how bad that it is. And let me tell you, and this woman, she's in good health. I mean, she does her yoga. I don't know if it's all daily, but she does it very often, pretty much daily. She takes long walks on the beach. She's a very active person, and a great dietitian and a great cook. Yeah, she not only cooks good, she uses a lot of foods that, like certain veggies and other things that a lot of people wouldn't use because of their medicinal or nutritional value for you. So I'm just glad that her and her husband are okay now. I do look forward to seeing them, and pray that she'll give me that interview, folks. Yeah, it should be quite interesting because, like I said, the way she talked, it was really bad. They didn't even want me to come over that day that offered to bring the stuff. I wasn't worried about it. Hey, I'd have gone right to her door and given her the stuff. I would have given it to her. So anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Keep that in mind. That death rate is going up. It's climbing. Instead of leveling or going down, it's climbing. And as I've said before, yeah, this thing's going to kill millions before it's over with. And as I said, it was going to be around the whole world, and it pretty much is now. There's no stopping it. This is from God, and this will let the politicians and these world leaders know. Y'all can't stop God. When he wants to bring earthquakes, when he wants to bring floods like he's doing throughout a lot of the Middle East now, when he wants to bring his sandstorms, tsunamis, meteorites, the government can't stop it. You take all your military, This government and people need to get in line with God, because there's plenty more plagues and wars, and famine is coming. Famine's right around the corner, people. Yeah, so be prepared. Pray. Pray to the Lord. Pray to God. Pray that God will help you. Pray that God will deliver you from this. He says, pray that you be accounted worthy. So you need to be worthy to escape all of these things. And then you got to repent from your sins. You know, if you're sinning, especially certain sins, God isn't even going to hear from you. Doesn't matter how much you pray. Not until you do things about those sins. Now, I'm not saying every sin is like that. But if you continue to sin, then that's bad. You know, you need to pray. Pray that God forgive you for your sins, you know, and eventually He is faithful and just to take those things away from you. All right? It may not happen just like that. You got to have the patience and the faith of the saints. And then the other thing is, you got to seek God's face by reading the Bible. Yep, that's what you got to do. In fact, that's number one. Yeah. And when you're doing those things, then God will listen to your prayers. In fact, He will hear and answer your prayers before you can get them out of your mouth, like He's done for me at times. So, all right, folks, that's it. I'm going to tell you once again. All right, these large bags, $20. I mail them the Kung Flu kit for one. Well, I still have two that are made with the 10 bags as opposed to the 8. I will still sell those for $18, and that's shipping included. That particular tincture with the shipping is $30. If you want the diabetic tea in the tincture, it is a little bit more because it is a blend. It takes a lot more time and effort to make those. And with shipping, that'll be $35. So, and I got all kind of other herbs too, and I'm going to do some videos on them soon. I'll start going through some of mine and breaking them down, tell you what's in them, how they work. And if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments down here. But meanwhile, folks, you should be sharing this video. And really, the last one I did too, on how that these herbs work. Several of my herb videos that I've done. And I will have more for you. This was all supposed to go on my other channel. Maybe eventually I'll switch them over there. That channel is called The Apothecary. An apothecary is someone who gives herbal medical advice to doctors and to patients. And I've done that plenty. Yes, I have. And I'm doing it right now. And if any of you doctors or nurses are watching this, y'all more than anybody need to get you some of these herbs to keep you from getting this virus. I can't stress it enough. That's all I got to say. All right. Later. Go upload this.